Hey guys, it's Jen with 2Ns. Welcome back to my channel. So I had a tragedy happen. I ripped my pinky nail right off. I was changing out a set and I misjudged where my peel base and builder gel was, and I accidentally went under the builder gel and off she came. So I'm going to show you in this video how to fix a nail with a tip and clear powder. I used double dips, liquids, and powders. So if you want to save 10%, I have a code that you can use. When you are checking out, just use the code DIPGEN10, and that will save you 10% at Double Dip's website, which is doubledipstore.com. You can use that code over and over again. So use it as much as you want and save some money. So moving on, the first thing you want to do is rough up your natural nail. You don't need to go crazy. You just want to get the shine off your nail so that the product will adhere better. Before I started recording, I already selected a nail that fit me, so we don't need to do that during this process. But real quick, I want to show you guys this. How cool is this? I got this on Amazon. It came with a bunch of different sizes, so it was pretty cheap too, of course. But you want to pick a nail that fits your actual nail. You don't want to pick one that the edges, the sides, are too wide. If they go over your natural nail, then it does not fit you. And if they're too short or not wide, you need to get a different nail because it's not going to work. If it is too wide, you can file it down so that it fits you. But if it's too short, then you're out of luck. You just got to get a different nail. The next step after you have filed your natural nail and you've selected a nail that fits you, the correct size, then you take your nail glue and you put the glue on the artificial nail. Make sure you put it on the right side. If you look at the nail, you see that one side, one end of it it's a different color. That's meant to mimic like your natural nail, how you have the white part of your nail after it starts to grow out. So that's how you know how to put it on. You want that part, if you noticed, you want the nail to line up with the discolored part and the end of your nail. I don't know if I made sense, but hopefully watching me and hopefully seeing me do it made sense. Also, hopefully you've seen a tip before. Everything that I'm saying is actually not new information for you. So I know that I could seem like I'm being really, really, really basic here, but after you've glued the nail on, I always like to take some more glue and I just glue along the smile line just to give it that double reinforcement. Be very careful because nail glue is just like super glue. Once the glue has touched whatever surface that it's going to go on, it sticks right away. So you'll have a hard time getting it off if you put the nail in the wrong spot and in the wrong position. So line it up really good before you put it on. It's really upsetting if you glue your nail on crooked. So don't do that. So what I'm doing right here is I'm kind of pinching my skin away. Some of the glue kind of got in between my nail and my skin, so I just use my other finger and pull the skin apart from the nail. It takes pretty quick for nail glue to dry, but you do want to make sure that it is dry before you move on. And once it is dried, then you want to take a file and you want to file the top of your nail. If you can see here where you have that ridge, I have that ridge where I glued the nail. I just want to take the file and smooth it out. So just blend it so that the nail and the artificial nail and your natural nail have more of a smooth surface. So we're just blending. And if you notice, I'm moving my hand and not the file. That is because, you guessed it, I'm working on my dominant hand. Of course, it was my dominant hand that I ripped my nail off of. Why wouldn't it be? Also, when I'm filing the top and blending it, this is also where I go underneath and I make sure that my side walls are smooth and also filed, just to make sure that any skin and it's not glued together still. So also please don't pay attention to my left hand here where I have leftover powder still. I did not do this hand yet, so just disregard. So now you can kind of see here a little bit better how I was able to blend the connect line, make more of a smooth surface. Now it is time to build the apex. This is the way I do it. There may be other ways, people may do it differently, but this is how I do it and I find it to be best for me. So what I do is I start with my base coat and I take a very, very, very thin layer. When I say thin, I mean thin. And I just do one strip along where the nails connect. But notice I do not go from sidewall to sidewall. I leave space in between my walls. So I just do a strip in the middle of my nail and then I dip it into the powder. And then take a brush and dust off the excess powder. Make sure you get the underside of your nail. And there we have our first layer for our apex. Since we did not take the base coat next to our cuticle at all, we don't need to clean our cuticles. So we just move on to the next layer, except for something I should have mentioned before we started. And I noticed, I thought that the size was okay. It's not. This pinky nail was way too long, so I'm going to trim it. You want to make sure that you trim your nail before you put the powder on, because it is easier to cut a fake nail than it is to cut a fake nail with dip powder on it. Luckily, I only had the one strip on my nail. And watch what I do here, guys. Yep, that actually happened. I was so clumsy when I was doing this set. I don't know why, but everything that could go wrong, I feel like did go wrong. I spilled my powder. Oh my gosh, it was a pain in the butt. But you know what? At least it was easy to clean up. I used a dustpan and a broom. I just did the air quotes. You guys didn't see it, but at least powder cleans up as long as it doesn't get into your carpet, right? There's the, I don't know, silver lining. So there's that. I'm not perfect. Have you guys ever done that? Let me know. Comment. Let's laugh about it together. All right, now that everything is cleaned up, the next step is to file your nail if you've trimmed it. So again, remember, it's a good idea to do the filing and the trimming before you do any kind of dipping. I thought my nail was a good length. It turns out I was wrong. So it was still okay. I was able to go in and fix it because I didn't have powder on the rest of the nail yet, just only on the little smile line. So you don't have to shape your nails perfectly yet. We're going to make sure that the shape is perfect after we are done dipping, but you want to get the general shape down before you put powder on it. So see, it's not perfect, but it's good enough to continue dipping. So for the second layer, what I do is I don't go all the way to my cuticle yet. I do about 3/4 of the nail. Make sure that I get the whole length of the nail, but I don't go all the way down. And notice what I'm doing with my brush, how I'm laying it flat as I paint the base coat on. I'm not just using the tip of my brush, I'm flattening it too. And then dip it in the powder. Now we definitely do want to take a toothpick or an orange wood stick and clean the cuticle lines. Clean up your edges, make sure that you don't have any liquid or powder that accidentally got on your skin. And then of course dust off the rest of the powder so that you can see your handiwork so far. So here you can see that I still have a little bit left of my nail that I need to put powder on. This is perfect. This is perfect, a perfect way to build the apex. 3 layers. We're building upon the layers. And now for the final layer is when I go all the way as close to my cuticle as I can get. Of course, being as careful as possible not to get any liquid on my skin. And I always say this, and I will continue to always say it, if you do get any liquid on your skin, just make sure that you wipe it off. Nobody's perfect. I get liquid on my skin sometimes too. Just take your finger and just wipe it off. Very important that you do that. Use the brush and flatten it as you're painting down your nail. Don't just use the tip of it. and then make sure you wipe your brush before you put it back into your bottle, and then dip your nail in the powder again. So now there is full coverage on the entire nail, 3 layers, apex is built, and then clean your cuticles. If you want to do more than 3 layers when you're building your apex, you certainly can. Just change up how much dip you put on each layer. So for example, if you do your stripe first and then your second layer you did a third of your nail, and then the third layer you did 3/4 of the nail, and then the fourth layer you did the full nail. For every layer you just want to add a little bit more coverage until you get to full coverage. But just play around with it and see what works for you. I like doing 3 dips, but you may find 4 is better for you, or 5 maybe even. So there it is. So far, so good. Once all of the layers have been put on, the next step is the activator. Activator is what hardens the nail so that you can go in and file it and shape it. I put a bunch on. Just want to make sure that the entire nail is drenched, basically. After you apply the activator, then you need to make sure to let your nail dry before you go in with your file. Usually it takes about 2 minutes. 2 minutes is about the magic number for every step, I've noticed. But wait about 2 minutes for your nail to harden, and then you can take your file and finish shaping it before we put the color on. And again, it still doesn't have to be perfect in this round of filing, because the final file, which is after we put the color on, is when you really want to make sure it's perfect. But you definitely want to make sure it's close to perfect right now. We're doing our maintenance, keeping up with the maintenance so that it's easier at the end. So also, if you're putting peel base on like I do, if you lose a nail, making sure that this part of the nail is perfect. If you lose a nail, it won't really matter because your nail still looks beautiful without the color on. So there's some motivation for you to make sure that you file good. Also notice I'm going over the top of my entire nail. I'm taking the file and I'm filing around my cuticles and my free edge and my side walls. But when I take the file and I go over my cuticles, I'm rounding the cuticles out so that it kind of tapers into the nail. And when I'm filing my side walls, I go from underneath and I file up, like so. That will help to keep your nails from looking so wide at the ends. So I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but sometimes how nails look like they're wider at the end. If you file from underneath, that helps to eliminate that. Like right here. Watch how I do this. So I'm filing from underneath, but at an angle. Also, you want to make sure that your nail is as smooth as possible because peel base will not work if it is not on a smooth surface. So taking your file and then a buffing block if necessary, just make sure that the surface is as smooth as possible so that the peel base will work. I'm going to speed this part up and then finish filing off camera so that the video isn't 600 hours. And there we go. And I am ready to put color on my newly fashioned tip. Not so bad once I got it fixed. So the next step is to put peel base on. I put peel base on before every single mani. I change my manicures out very, very frequently. About 1 to 4 days is how often I change mine out. I used to soak in acetone. I do not do that anymore. I refuse to do it. It makes my nails so weak and I hate the way it makes my skin feel afterwards. But there is a little trick. If you put coconut oil in your acetone, it helps to keep your skin soft. So anyways, moving on. I use peel base. I use UNT. Make sure that your peel base is dry. The color that I'm using, I actually got this from a mystery bag from Revel over Christmas. So I don't even know if you can buy it or not, but I love this color. I discovered it when I was like, what color should I use? And I just grabbed a color from my box, and this was the color, and I am in love with it. I think it is so gorgeous, but I don't know if you can get it. It's mystery color number 5. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the application process for this video because I do have other videos where I spend more time talking about it. I'm actually going to speed up the video so you can watch it, but it'll be in fast motion. And I'll put some music on for you guys, and I will meet you here in a little bit. Speaking of music, I want to know, what do you guys think about the music that I use in my video? Is it a yay or is it a nay? Because I know I always use the same song, so let me know if that's a good song or if I should switch it out. I definitely don't want to annoy you guys with my video, with my song choice. So here it is. Okay, so I actually did 3 dips of the color, and then it is time for the activator. Activator is what hardens your nails. It's so that you can go in and file them and shape them, and so that they're strong, obviously. It is a necessary step. After you put the activator on, let it dry for about 2 minutes. Let it do its magic and let it harden your nails before you take a file to your nail again. And this time is when we do the final perfect shaping. You want to make sure that when you're filing, you get your sidewalls, and you get your cuticles, and you get your free edge. You want to make sure that it's as smooth as you want it and the shape is perfect like you want it. So I'm going to speed up the video and finish filing off camera. You guys already watched me file before the color, so I don't think you need to watch a second filing. If you want to, then of course leave comments below. Let me know if you want me to do a filing video. I certainly don't mind doing that at all. I mean, I'll probably do one anyway, but okay. So after you file, go wash your hands. Make sure that you get all that extra dust and powder off. And full disclosure here, guys, I actually did go back in and filed my pinky a little bit more because I wanted it to be more tapered. So that brings us to the end of the tutorial. I did not show the rest of the process on camera because I have plenty of videos where I do, but I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to show your cuticles some love. Please like and subscribe below, and we'll see you guys next time.